All right, that's it. I've had enough. We're getting rid of the V6.
See you later, stinky.
I wonder what it feel like to do that shit in real life. And now I know I got it. That's the reason, no, I be inside me on the dotted, but it's still visionary to the death for me. Yeah, I'm trying to make it, but I gotta find a recipe. Greatest of all time, I want the world addressing me.
Alrighty, so I'm right down the street from our latest marketplace find. This is a 4-valve B-head motor out of a Lincoln Mark 8. You can tell it's B-head by the split port there instead of the C heads that have the single port. But it does have some issues. It was originally pulled for supposedly a bottom end noise. I did pull the valve covers, didn't see any issues. In the video the guy showed me, it kind of sounds like a chain slap noise. But regardless, this is going to be our new engine for the drift build for version 2, and it's going to be mated to a TR3650, and I'm super excited to get this thing home and get it broken down. So let's hit the road. Alrighty guys, we are out here in the garage real brief just to go over everything that I have so far. This is the 4.6 dual overhead cam that I just showed you guys. It is currently torn down. We are going to be covering that in a separate video, showing everything that's wrong with it and what we have to do to kind of get it ready to go into the car. But as you can see over here, if I make my way over, we have a massive accumulation of random parts and stuff for the swap to happen. So this has kind of been the plan all along, was to go 2-valve at least. And then coming along this motor and this amazing deal that I got for it, when I do the breakdown, you guys are going to be absolutely blown away with the steel that I got for this thing. But yeah, so far I have engine harness, braking system components, transmission, trans harness. I have an ECU. I need to get a bunch of other components, but I have a lot of the swap components already. But yeah, this is the primary platform that I wanted to go with. It was too good to pass up on. I was gonna do a built 2-valve originally, but now we're doing 4-valve because opportunities present themselves and you just gotta take what's in front of you. So definitely took advantage of that. So that being said, let's go ahead and jump to the car and we'll go over everything that's gonna be changing on the actual chassis. But for just the engine platform, we are going 4.6 4-valve with a T45 transmission. Alrighty, so we are back over here at the car. I'll go ahead and get the hood up on this bad boy. So if you guys have not seen the previous video where we tore this thing down and saw all the damages, obviously I'll show you guys real quick. This cylinder took an absolute beating, and it is not savable, unfortunately. So that is why we were going with the V8 platform here for version 2 of the car. Nothing front end wise is really changing. We did go ahead and I put in a brand new power steering rack that I had as a spare. So yeah, my other one was extremely leaky, as you can tell by all the fluid on the ground. So went ahead, changed that out, and then angle kit is going to remain the same. It's still the same cut knuckle extended lower, so that will not be changing. I really like the way that it fits anyways. So jumping on to the inside of the car. Alrighty, so everything interior wise is going to be staying the same. I do have to rewire my subwoofer in, but other than that, everything interior wise is going to be staying the same. We might be changing the V6 cluster to a GT cluster. I'm not fully sure yet if I want to. The only difference is the speedo, which the speedo is going to be off regardless because it does have 410 gears. But other than that, and possibly maybe a new shifter boot so that it's not so hideous. But other than that, nothing interior wise is going to be changing for version 2. So yeah, just as we start driving more and more and start getting faster and faster, I think a handbrake is going to be a really useful tool that I can start utilizing. So I am going to go ahead and put one in the car finally for version 2, especially with the higher horsepower, a lot more wheel speed. I'm going to need to scrub a lot more speed, and the brakes in these cars kind of suck. So left foot braking has already kind of been a challenge and I tend to push through them often when I'm on the track as it is. So I think a hydro is really going to help this car and myself in a lot of areas that we've kind of been struggling and compensating for the fact that we haven't had a hydro. So we will be putting a hydro in the car for version 2. All right, now into the rear end of the car, which is our first kind of major change, if anything. Obviously we're going dual caliper for the handbrake. Along with that, we are retaining the max speeding rod coilovers. They do have a 7K rear spring, so it's actually not a bad spring rate for what I plan on doing with this car. So that is going to remain the same, but we are looking into pan hard bars to keep any axle deflection from happening. I've seen a lot of things online where it's helped a lot of people, so we are probably going to look into getting one of those on the car. And then another addition to the rear end, we might be changing the rear gears. I don't know. I'm gonna leave the 410 initially and feel it out with the 4-valve. If that changes, obviously I'll let you guys know, but so far it's gonna be stock 410, but I am putting it out there as a maybe because it might change, it might not. So that's definitely one thing I wanted to touch on. And the final thing for the rear end that is going to change is the lower control arm rear location brackets. I'll put those on screen here. So essentially these are gonna do a huge part in adding anti-squat into the car. I could go over a whole thing on how the geometry of all of that works with the upper and lower arms and how it creates anti-squat. There's plenty of videos online on that. But I am gonna get the rear location brackets so we can add some anti-squat into the rear of the car, and that'll really help get us some more rear grip. And then the softer spring in combination with the anti-squat should allow for a good amount of side bite. This is something, like I said in the budget build video, it's something that Chelsea Denofa emphasized a lot, and just something that I'm trying to replicate within this car, because I also want something that's easy to drive but can also be semi-competitive and keep up with people. Alrighty, so the final thing that's really changing on this car that I think is going to make the biggest difference. So since we have the cheap angle kit, we do not have like the Synergy Mild or the Synergy Wild, where we have the ability to run a front sway bar. This car can't. I could have maybe custom brackets made and figure something out, but it would be really tricky. I'm more than likely going to run into binding issues and setup issues. So for this car, similar to what Denofa had to do on his Fox, we're going to be running a really stiff front spring to compensate and create that cross jacking into the rear end for essentially more side bite and just more grip in general. A lot of grip is produced by the front of these cars, so if I could have a front sway, I 1000% would put one on, but unfortunately due to the angle kit I cannot run one. But that being said, we're gonna run probably, I haven't completely settled, but either 1,000 pound, which is 20K, or 18K, something like that in the front, especially having the 4-valve up front. I really want to stiffen up the front and get that rear grip in. But yeah, that's essentially it for version 2 of the car. We're really not going to be changing too much suspension wise, just going to a stiffer spring in the front and adding a pan hard bar in the back. We're throwing a hydro in the car, and obviously the biggest undertaking is we're going V8. So I hope you guys enjoyed the little update. I am going to do the same thing as always. I'm going to put parts list in the description of the video, so if you guys need anything or want to see the exact parts I'm putting on, check the link in the description. That'll have everything you need. But that being said, thank you for watching, and see you later. You guys really thought I was going to LS swap it?